it's getting to be about that time for our distribution with Misti. Let's take a look and see where it's at. Hello my friends, this is Legend. Misti will be announcing their distributions on Wednesday, going X on Thursday, and will pay out on Friday. Let's take a look at the charts and see where it sets currently, just to get a good idea of if we are running into any kind of resistance or supports currently. All right, so here we are on the Misti chart, and as you can see, I've got this orange line up here at the top being the resistance line that we have made on Friday, and I've got the bottom down here with this orange line being the bottom that we've had on this trend right here, this upward trend that we've had. So the bottom of that and the top. We did have a little bit of a pullback today, which is perfectly normal considering this huge uptrend that we've been having on Misti. And this has been going on since, you could technically say, almost 1 month ago, that this has just been moving up on average the entire time. So we know that our resistance here at this roughly $25.30, and we have this support line at that $17.10, and I have this line here as that was our previous resistance line. And if I zoom back a little bit here so you can see, that's where it was hitting here before it bounced down. Okay, so it hit that and then fell down, right? And then we did break it here. So what was a resistance now could be a support line. We will see. Looks like we tested it on this candle here a little bit and then went up and we made a new high on Friday, and then we've kind of cooled off just a bit. So we'll see. Will we end up breaking below this roughly $23.44 line? If so, the next support line would be around that $20.90. And as you can see, that's just where we have hit it several times. Here, here, here. So it has been quite a support or resistance line in this case, and then became a support here, right? And then it was a resistance, and then we broke through it and made new highs and also made a new support now. So that's a good sign as far as if we can hold this support line, then we may be okay. Now, keep in mind, the distributions will pay out on Friday, but it goes X on Thursday. So whatever we get paid out in distribution, that will come out of the price. So if we get paid, say, $2, therefore the current price being $24.65, that would mean $2 comes out of that price. So that would be $22.65, possibly at the opening of the next day, if this was our Wednesday close date price. That's just how the distributions work. So there's always been a question of, do you buy the day before X day, or do you wait until the X day to purchase it? And what's the difference, right? So the difference being, if you buy the day before the X date, then you will pay, if this was the Wednesday close price, okay, and you bought those shares before close on Wednesday at $24.65, then that's what you would pay, and you would be eligible for that distribution that would be paid out on Friday. But keep in mind, that price will drop that distribution. So in a way, it becomes a wash, right? Because the price drops by the amount that you just got paid out. So you got paid out in the price of the stock. Now, not saying that you won't recover that, right? And that would be the idea of why you would do that, because you would want to get paid that distribution and then in hopes that it does recover the next day or two and start moving on up. Or you could wait until the X date, right? Or the distribution comes out of that price and then you just buy it at a lower price. I personally like to do that because I'm always trying to lower my cost average of the stock itself, because that's just less that I've got to earn back to earn my capital back in my plays. But that's just how I'm running my MSTY plays. Everybody has their own ways of doing it, and that is up to you how you want to do yours. But for me, I would much rather buy it on X day at a $2 price cheaper than what it would have been on the day before. Now, of course, that does not count any kind of movement after hours, of course, but ultimately I should be able to get it cheaper on X day, and then because I got it on X day, I will not earn that distribution, but I would earn the next distribution, right, for those shares, if I still have those shares by X date of that next 4 weeks. So a lot of times, a lot of people think, well, I'll buy them on Wednesday, get that distribution because I want that distribution, right? But then you pay for it out of the price of the stock. But now, of course, if the price of the stock goes up, then you did good. But if the price of the stock drops, then you're going to kind of think, well, you just paid that high price. You got your $2 distribution. So that means that it's still worth $22, right? But now the price of the stock may be $21 and you could have got it at the 21. So it's just all depends on how you want to do it. But for me, I'm going to show a little bit more patience as I am looking to dollar cost average down in my MSTY shares. So I'm always looking to lower that cost rather than DCA up. But again, that is your choice to do so. So let's take a look at Mr. just to get an idea of the underlying and how it's doing. And you will see something very similar, right? We put our resistance line up here. Looks like we need Mr. to stay above that 343.25 roughly. And we need it to break that 103.90 right here. If we can do that, we might see a continually movement up. That would be a good thing. We did have earnings, and that came out on the 1st of May. And the earnings were not great, but there is a lot of people pushing Mr., right? Buying into Mr. because they're using it as a Bitcoin play, and Bitcoin has been moving up. Let's just take a look to see where Bitcoin is currently. Okay, so here we are on Bitcoin. As you can see, we did hit a high here a few days ago at 97, almost 98K, and we had the drop off right up to the end of last week to where today we actually had a movement up. So hopefully we're seeing a little bit maybe support here, and we can start moving this back up and we can break that 97. That would be great. But anyway, back onto MSTY here. Like I said, you know, we've got that support that we've got to break. We've got that resistance that we've got to break, but the MACD is still up. We've still got some positive momentum going on. The RSI2 did cool down. That's a good thing because, like I said, it's been at 99. So was really waiting for a pullback on it, and looks like we're starting to get a little bit of one now. So as I said, we do have our distributions will be paid out this week. So I'm excited about that. We'll see how Mr. does, which will then reflect how MSTY does, in hopes that our MSTY fund managers can manage those options in our favor. So I think I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you don't mind, hit that subscribe button, smash that like button, and don't forget to share this with others. Be much appreciated. And as always, I am not a financial advisor. This is not financial advice. Please do your own due diligence before you get into any stock plays. And until next time, legend out.